welcome to another edition of the United Spurs of America podcast. As always, your co-host Michael Ramirez, alongside Jacob Walraven. How we doing, my friend? How we doing?
Hey, talk to me, baby.
I'll
Come
talk
on.
to you, baby. I'll talk to you. Christian Romero to Tottenham Hotspur. Here we go, confirmed.
Give it
Oh my
up.
God. Oh
Give
my
it
God.
up.
All right. 50 million euros plus 5 million bonuses to Atalanta. And I just have here written in my notes, Jacob. Yes, 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 in all caps. Yes, 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 my friend. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. I can't believe we actually got it over the line. We've already, dove into what he can bring to Tottenham in past episodes. If you haven't listened to those, please go back. I think it was two episodes ago. We really dove into Christian Romero. Bottom line, one of the best center backs in Europe, best center back in Serie A last season. Just won the Copa America with Argentina. He is the real deal. Jacob, I'm excited about this signing. I haven't been this excited about a signing in a long time. Maybe outside of Gareth Bale, but maybe since when we signed Ndombele a few years ago.
Mhm.
That's how excited I am.
When I tell you, I turned my tweet notifications on for Fab specifically because I needed to hear the "here we go." I needed to see it. I needed to confirm it. And once that was confirmed, I think I hit the group chat immediately. Just is confirmed. Here we go. Because here we go. 50 mil, 5 million cheaper than they were asking. We got the 5 million made up in bonuses. He hits those bonuses. We're all happy. Fuck that amount of 5. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm beyond happy. I'm excited. Curious what number he's gonna wear. I can't wait to
there
see
are a
him
few
and
new
Nuno get
available numbers now. There are a
yeah.
few now, and there could possibly be more. We'll get into that later in the episode.
My favorite number speaking anyway. A little teaser. No, but it's just a great day aside from the Harry Kane news. Which we'll get into later as well. But to sign a guy who was the best player in his league last year, I mean, I think that just speaks volumes, especially when it's a league like the Serie A. And I think every Spurs fan has something to be extremely happy about. Can't wait for Spurs to officially announce it.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good time. But we're already having a good time, off to a good start. I think we needed to do this sooner rather than later. The sooner he can get into London and get into training, I think that's crucial right now anyway.
Yep. He'll now undergo, the medicals and everything, I believe. And after that, he'll finish his isolation period, I believe. Hopefully get the negative COVID tests back. And then after that, he's in training. And like you said, better to have him sooner rather than later. That way he could possibly be in the 11 against Man City on the first game of the Premier League season. It'd be huge, man. It would be huge. Like I said, this is one of the most excited times that I've been as a Tottenham fan regarding transfers in a long, long time. I would probably, like I said, outside of Gareth Bale, I think the last time I was this excited about a signing was Tanguy Ndombele. This is going to be a game changer for us.
I mean, for anyone who's been listening to the pod, you've heard us clamoring on and on about we need a world-class center back. I think
this is a world-class center back.
Exactly.
This is a world-class center back.
Some would argue that this was our third option, right? Because there was the other two that Koundé and Skriniar.
I guess you could throw those two in the mix. To be honest, man, I see where you're coming from, but honestly, just like from what I've been reading and just my general outlook on just like this whole transfer saga, Fabio Paratici really, really, really wanted Romero. Like, I think this was his plan A, B, and C.
There were obviously Tomiyasu too at the same time. I mean, I've heard people argue both sides of it. Like, what has he really done? What has he not done since he's been in office? But, I think having someone between Daniel Levy and the football team as a football team is a very great thing. And I think this is just going to help build our success. I'm excited for what the man's done. I'm all
Yep.
in. I've
Yep.
seen the little lockets on Twitter that open up, the little heart lockets, and they open up, and there's a little picture of Paratici.
It's his face. It's just his
Yeah,
face. His beautiful, beautiful face.
I love it.
Getting Here He Goes
I'm all
done.
about the hype
Oh,
too. You know what I mean? Let's get on the train. Let's go. Toot toot.
I'm so hyped, man. The next thing that I was going to ask you, Jacob, is where do you see him fitting into, the 11? Who do you see him starting next to? But before we get into that, I still do want to cover that. Who do you think pairs up with him? Who do you want? I mean, obviously you have a what, four options as of right now. You could argue maybe less because Sanchez is looking like he might leave, as well as possibly Dyer, um, possibly Ben Davies. Now we heard from Fabrizio Romano today he might be out on his way out the door as well. That's a possibility, barring no one comes in. God forbid no one actually does come in, but you know, barring no one else coming in
Mhm.
besides Romero, who do you see him right now starting next to? Who do you want him to start next to?
I say if Tanganga's healthy, I don't see why not giving him a shot again at the center back position. I think it's his more natural position. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of him out there on the right back as well. We just don't know what the situation is with Doherty and REA at this moment.
Yeah,
I think there's still some moves to be made, but it's starting to get late if you think about it. I mean, when does the transfer window close?
the 31st, but the season starts in less than 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. And you want to have your team in place before the start of the season, but it's not the end of the world either way.
Yeah. I really do want to see another center back get signed this transfer window. I feel like it's necessary and a requirement rather than an option at this point. Hopefully we get Sanchez out the door. Hopefully we get Dyer out the door. And like you said earlier, Jacob, a guy like Tomiyasu, um, maybe possibly Milinkovic from Fiorentina as well. You know, I do believe Paratici's got a list of center backs that he would like to sign right now. I think he's looking at least one more. And the only question that I have for really Paratici is, you know, which one is which one's number one? What's the number one target after Romero? All right, you got your guy. Who's next? That's what I really
Mhm.
want to know. I would agree with you. I want to see Tanganga start. I think not necessarily he's earned the position, but I just think he's the overall best center back option that we have right now, other than Christian Romero. And you can play him on the. I think you would play him on the left side. He's played on the left side before with a few pairings of center backs during his time at Tottenham thus far. But yeah, I think I agree with you, man. Got to give the spot to Tanganga. I think Joe Rodon's a close second. Um, but I think we need one more center back, man. I think we need one more. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We can only hope that um, we make a couple more signings, but for today anyway, I think we could all just be happy in the fact that we signed a guy that we've been hoping for quite some time now.
Yep.
And man, it's good to get good news. It's good to feel good about what your team did today. So,
It's a nice change of pace for once, huh?
mhm. But do you want to, speaking of change of pace, you ready to change pace and talk about your boy?
Something a little bit more depressing.
Let's talk about your boy for a minute.
Yeah. So Harry Kane did not report to Tottenham training on Monday, which was yesterday. We're recording this on a Tuesday afternoon. Um, yeah, he was expected to be back at training on Monday to undergo, well, not necessarily training, but to the facilities to undergo his COVID tests and other medical bullshit that he had to do. Uh, did not report. He actually has not reported again today. It's Tuesday. Hasn't reported to any of the Tottenham facilities at Enfield or N17. Obviously, he's pushing for a move to Man City. We've known that for a while. He wants to go. Man City offered us 100 million euros, or excuse me, pounds, about just over a month ago. We rejected that bid. Frankly, I don't blame him. It's not enough money, but um, according to Dan Kilpatrick, he says Kane is due to be back to training by later this week. I don't know what day exactly exactly. We don't know that yet, but the Claire is aware of the situation. And Kilpatrick's also saying, who's really reliable, by the way. I followed him ever since I became a Tottenham fan. He believes the situation has been blown out of proportion. Kane does, and this is from Dan KP on Twitter. So I'm disappointed, man. If it is true that he's skipping training on purpose to force a move to Man City, if that's true, I'd be very, very disappointed. Like I was very, very sad yesterday. I was disappointed. I was let down as a fan and just as an overall, appreciator of what he's done for this club, man. Like, but
I
at the
don't
same
think you
time,
were the only
it's
one.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of disrespectful, frankly, to the fans. I could really care less if it's disrespectful to Daniel Levy or Paratici or anyone. But like as a fan base, we've loved Harry Kane since he came up. From day one, since he scored his first goal to his last. He's been absolutely adored by the club, by its fans. We've given him everything, really, as a fan base. That is not as a club. Obviously, we haven't given him everything. Um, I'm just disappointed. At the end of the day, if this is how he's going to force a move, I don't really know what to say, man. I love Harry Kane. You know how much I love Harry Kane. He's probably my favorite player in the world. Um, it's really sad as a Tottenham fan. It's very, very sad.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame you because I was pretty disappointed yesterday. I think today there's a little bit more that comes out. Before I tried to rush to any conclusion, I always ask myself, like, well, what does Harry say about this? I mean, if he realizes how much it affected all these Tottenham fans, I think that he would make more of a point to, you know, set the record straight, so to speak. And it's it's to me, I'm trying to not jump to conclusions. It's easy to look at something and say, "Oh, this is how it is. This is how it looks, et cetera, et cetera." But I mean, like it or not, it hasn't looked good for in the sense of Kane actually staying next year. It just hasn't. And I think that this is just a manifestation of that same thing we were thinking at the end of last season when he was clapping for all the fans, and we had that big emotional moment. It to me just seems like a manifestation of all those things, and it's come to a head. I mean, the whole gentleman's agreement thing, who knows if that's real? Apparently, it was agreed last year when they had talks. But the fact of the matter is, the city hasn't offered enough money. It's not like they offered money that was worth us being like, okay, that's what we asked for, and we're saying no. That'd be a different story, right?
Yeah.
Because then at that point we're preventing him from leaving. But the way it stands right now, we just haven't got an offer that we see as the same valuation that we put it. The man got golden boot and the most assists last year. Like,
Yeah.
come on, 100 million. You're offering the same thing for Grealish. They're not the same player.
No.
One brings so much more to the game.
And at
And
the end of the day, that's what I was looking at too. Okay, you're gonna offer 100 million for Grealish, apparently, and that might get agreed to. If that gets agreed to, 100 million for Jack Grealish, like you said, then how much is Harry Kane worth? Jack Grealish, yes, he's supremely talented. Don't get me wrong. Love Jack Grealish. I think he's a phenomenal football player. I really wish he would have signed for Tottenham a few years ago when we had the chance. Um, But if he's 100 million pounds, then what, like you said, what does the man who just won the Golden Boot and Playmaker Award in the Premier League last season, how much is he worth then? How much is England's captain's worth? You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like he just
Exactly.
bossed it in the Euros. He had a solid showing in the Euros. He scored in some of the knockout games. How much is he worth if Jack Grealish is worth 100 mil? A guy who didn't even start in the Euro final for England and got brought on late. That's my thing at the end of the day. You're gonna have to offer a lot more than 100 million for Harry Kane. At least
Exactly.
150.
And I
At
think
least. Maybe to even just start talks.
and a
Start with
lot of people, I
150.
know how a lot of people feel about Daniel Levy, but the way I see it, hey, we got the fucking job done with Romero, and now we're just playing our stance, right? It's he's our player for the next 3 years, and no one's offered us what we feel like he's worth. Bottom line, and you know, who knows why Harry Kane's not at training, but it's day 2. We'll see. We'll assess, as things come to light. As I like to quote one of my favorite movies, The Big Lebowski, new shit has come to light, man.
New shit has
And
definitely come to light, man. According to The Athletic, Daniel Levy refuses to sell to another Premier League rival, which is music to my ears. And apparently there was no gentleman's agreement for Kane to leave this summer. That's what The Athletic's reporting. So take of that what you will. One last question about the Kane saga for you, my friend, before we wrap up this segment of the podcast, because frankly, I don't want to get depressed again. Does this hurt his legacy?
I think it
If the
doesn't
reports
for
are
me.
true, if the reports are true that he's forcing out a move by refusing to train.
For me, personally, the man's gonna do what the man's gonna do. And at the end of the day, for me, I don't think it ruined to answer your question. I don't think that this ruins his legacy for me, for the things that he's done for Tottenham, for the memories we have with the guy. You know what I mean? It just shows that he's reached his limit. And on one hand, you can't blame the guy, but on the other hand, there is accountability. I don't think this tarnishes his legacy at all. I've seen it a million times in professional sports where someone, basically does not want to play where they're at and they force a move on the franchise. It's not the first time, it's not the last time it's going to be done, frankly. I mean, so to me, let the man do what the man's got to do. Um, but also we need to offer. I think if they come in with 140, 150 mil, he's got to be worth more than what rumors are of Holland deal is, because he's a lot more proven and he's now in his prime. So to me, it's 150 mil. You gotta give me 150 mil or 140 and one of your good players, top player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said,
What about you? I want you to answer that question. For you, I think you have loved Harry Kane longer and harder than I have. What's your answer to
um,
that question?
I would, if it is true and if he actually does leave, this month, I'm going to be very hurt for a little bit. But think, like, the more I think about it, I think at the end of the day, looking back a few years from now, like looking back on, this whole month a few years from now, I think I'd probably forgive him just because of how much I love him. So at the end of the day, I don't think it'll hurt his legacy. Not his legacy, his overall like perception from the entire fan base will not be as wide of people who love him. It'll shrink a little bit. I don't know how much it would. I don't think it'll shrink a lot. But
Well,
for people kind of like me who just, love the player since day one, would do anything to see him win a trophy here. Wish him nothing but the best. I think I'll be fine in a few years. But I will be hurt for a little bit. I will be
especially
really
if he's
sad.
playing for Man City, that will hurt. If he's playing in, if he's
I,
wearing that jersey at the first game of the season, bro, that's gonna fuck up the whole
I know
season.
he probably won't be healthy enough to even or fit enough to even play in that game, but I agree if he does and he is on the wrong side, it's it's going to be very, 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 very hard to watch.
Bro, I saw some
Very hard to
clip. I saw
watch.
some clip of Robert Lewandowski after he signed for Bayern, and he was. It looked like they were standing before kickoff, and he was looking at one of his teammates, and they're both smiling at each other, and it was kind of sweet. And someone posted saying Son and Kane on the first game of the season. And
If Christian Eriksen was still at Tottenham, that's how he'd be with him too.
yeah,
Um,
it's all love. It's all love. But also
yeah,
for those 90 minutes, I hope you can't put shit on target. That's bottom line.
yeah, for sure, man. Let's go on to some more positive news, like Joe
Mm-hmm.
Hart leaving this godforsaken club.
Talk to
Sold to
me.
Celtic for 1 million euros or 1 million pounds, around that figure. Um, but yeah, you already know my feelings on Joe Hart. Get him the fuck out of here, man. After that social media howler that he had, I was done with him. I was absolutely done with it. I didn't like him in the first place
Mm-hmm.
because I watched him at City for those years, but that he was there. But yeah, nah, man, get him out of the club. Do you have any words to say about Joe Hart? That's about all he's gonna get from me.
If you listen, I've given him quite a bit of airtime on the previous episodes, so I'm not going to delve too much into it other than goodbye, good riddance, and I got
We'll
nothing else
smell
to
you
say.
later.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. That's what I gotta say. Get the fuck out of here. I didn't like him in the first place. City player, and he looks like a chode. Anyway, moving on.
Yep.
Get him the
Um,
fuck out of here.
again, some more good transfer news. Ben Davies is apparently on the list of players possibly to leave the club next. I had mentioned it a little bit earlier, but praise Jeebus if it's true, because I mean, I think have I talked about Ben Davies on the pod before? I feel like I have.
I think
I mean, you know
early.
how I feel about him. I
Yes.
can't stand him anymore, man. When we signed Reguilon last year, I was over the moon because I didn't have to watch Ben Davies start for this club anymore at left back. Um, if it's true, man, awesome. Get him out of here because the only thing he's doing at this point is slowing down Sessegnon's development. I need Sessegnon to be playing in these conference games and not motherfucking Ben Davies, bro. You're
Let
past your
alone Ben
prime,
let alone
whatever
Ben
your
Davies as the
prime
captain.
was. Yeah, you.
I
I mean,
don't
he peaked in the 2017-18 season when he was the starter when Danny Rose got hurt. Um, ever since then, man, I could care less about him. Get him out of here. Uh, Damsgaard. Let me. I want to pronounce his first name right. Hold on.
you gotta come prepared if you're gonna try and pronounce this man's name.
It.
Or just
I don't want to say Michael. It's not Michael. I think it's Mikkel. Mikkel Damsgaard. Uh, Danish winger slash attacking midfielder. Played in the Euros for the Danes on Denmark. You may have seen him play. Apparently, he's a possibility that Tottenham could pursue later this week. Now, to me, now this was reported by Fabrizio Romano. This is the only reason why I bring it up. It's a little bit interesting to me, but it's also a little bit confusing because I feel like we already have depth there. I feel like we don't really need another winger slash attacking midfielder. It's already kind of clogged as it is. Um, and at the same time,
if
how
you're gonna
much
bring in
money
a
do we have to
winger,
spend on that? You know what I mean?
if you're gonna bring in a winger, you know what I say? You know what I'm gonna say. If you're
I
gonna
already know
bring
what
in a
you're gonna say.
winger, if you're gonna bring in another winger, give me a Dama Traore. I saw Sky Sports. They they said that we're interested in him. I'm definitely interested. I don't think you're not interested, are you? You don't
Not
seem
really, unless he's gonna be a backup. But I feel like Wolves would ask for like at least 30 mil for Traore, right? Probably. I don't know. I don't know how much he's valued these days, but I don't know. I just feel like it's money that we could spend elsewhere in positions that we need. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I
I know
guess
you
I'm
love him just as a player. I get why you want him. I
yeah.
just don't. I don't see the point right now. We need defenders, man, and we need to start selling players. Sell, Paratici.
We do need to
We've
make some sales.
we've made our big move of the window. Now let's get the rest of the deadwood out. Hey, props to him though, because he's done more for shipping out this deadwood in regards to that than Daniel Levy has done in like 5 years. Thank the Lord, man.
Praise
This is
be.
just this is just the beginning, hopefully. Um, we talked about it a little bit earlier. The Premier League season starts in less than 2 weeks. Obviously, first game is against Man City. This is the week where I feel like these are where the last big moves are going to be made this week, because I feel like the clubs are going to be too focused on the start of the Premier League season next week and prepping their squads for that, making sure everything is ready to go. I feel like not as many big names will move next week. And I don't think any big names will move until the week after at least. So I feel like, this week is the week to really, really keep a close eye on transfer news, because I feel like we're going to get some more bombs coming out. We're going to get some more
Maybe some more
fab
player
bombs.
swaps. Who
Maybe,
knows?
maybe. If City tries to swap us players, no offense to, well, I mean, we're really the ones that are going to get offended, but if you're a Man City player and you're asked if you want to go to Tottenham in a swap deal,
They
who's
ain't
going
gonna
to
be
say
happy.
yes?
They ain't gonna be
No
happy.
one's going to say yes. That's the other part about the swap deal proposals that have been thrown out there. Like, why would Raheem Sterling want to leave Man City for Tottenham? Why would he
I
not want
don't
to win a
want.
treble like every
I
year?
don't want Raheem Sterling
Oh, I
to.
don't want him either. I don't really like Raheem Sterling, but uh, like I said, why would he want to come to Tottenham?
Mhm.
It'll be complicated. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll get some more clarity by the end of this week about Harry Kane. Hopefully, we get some more clarity about any other players that are being sold. And hopefully, we'll get some more deals coming in, man. Until then, up the lads. Up the freaking lads. Up
Come
Romero. Come
on,
on. Come on, you
come
Spurs.
on, you Spurs.
Thank you all so much for listening to another edition of the United Spurs of America podcast. And as always, follow us on Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. I've actually been getting some engagement from the Bleacher Report Tottenham community as well. So if any of
Hey,
you listeners are from that community, thank you guys so much for listening as well. If you're interested in joining our Patreon, please consider supporting us as well. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. And we're always looking for more people to engage with us on social media as well. So if you
holla
have any
at your
questions or
boy.
comments, anything that you want us to go over, please let us know on Twitter or any of the other social media platforms that we've listed above. As always, Jacob,
Come on, you Spurs. Oh, come on.